Hello there. I have a project for you, one that will be talked about for decades onward. This is about the acceleration and velocity of different thrown objects, such as a discus and a glue stick. This will be amazing, so sit back and enjoy the show. Hi, I'm Owen.
Yeah, I'm Nathan.
Let's go meet our friend.
Calmly, very calmly.
Calmly.
Not to scare her or make her scream.
Hello, Nathan. Hello, Owen.
Hello.
I'm Vivi.
Hello, partner. Oh, hey, I didn't notice you there. Now that you're here, I'm going to tell you about my data for the discus throw and the glue roll. Now let's talk about the mass of the discus. The mass of the discus is 1.6 kilograms. That's a heavy disc. Now, the distance was 4.5 meters of throwing. That's how far we measured it. Now, the average time it took me to throw the discus across the 4.5 meters was, on average, 0.266 repeating. Now, the average velocity I threw it at was 17.78 meters per second. That's fast. Now, the time to get to velocity, on average, was 0.766 repeating. Now, what does it all mean? So the velocity is how fast I threw the discus. The time it takes is how long it took to go the 4.5 meters. And the time to get to the velocity was the time from my furthest extension back to when I released it. Now, looking at my data, I've realized if I give it more time to accelerate, it'll go faster. Now, this is interesting. So let's talk about the glue stick roll. The mass of the object is about 0.05 kilograms, and the distance we rolled it was 1 meter. Now, the average velocity I rolled it at was 8.33 repeating, and the time to get to the velocity was 0.5 seconds on average. Now, that's some cool data. Let's go over to Nate.
Oh, hey, come on. Almost there. I'd like to have you join me on an adventure through throwing discuses and erasers. Not even erasers, glue sticks. I don't know why I said erasers, but let's get started. We yeeted a 1.6 kilogram discus across a distance of 4.572 meters. Now, for my personal data, it took me 0.433 seconds on average to get that going. It went a nice cool 2.6 meters per second. That gave it a pretty nice velocity. And the time it took to get to that velocity through my windup wasn't as much as our nice friend Owen, but it was almost a whole half second, 0.433. Now let's talk about our nice roll of our glue stick. Now our glue stick was a measly 49.25 grams. That's not a lot, but it's fine. We took it across 1 meter, as Owen said before, and it took an average of about a third of a second. It's all good. It gets there when it wants to. That gave it a velocity of 3.055 repeating. Time to get to that velocity, my windup happened in only 0.366 seconds. That's fast. But you know when things like that happen so fast, it's time to chill and enjoy the fireplace. Now let's go to Vivi.
Hello. This is Vivi, and I'm here to tell you about my throwing of a discus and a glue stick. The mass of the discus was 1.6 kilograms. The mass of the glue stick was 49.25 grams. I threw the discus 5 yards or 4.57 meters, and we rolled the glue stick 1 meter. It took me 0.3 seconds to throw the discus, on average 4.757 meters, and it took 0.2 seconds on average to throw the glue stick 1 meter. The velocity for my discus on average was 13.96 meters per second, and my velocity for the glue stick on average was 6.11 meters per second. The time it took me to get to my velocity for discus was 7.59 seconds on average, and the time to get to velocity for the glue stick on average was 2.31 seconds. That's
Go.
all I have today.
Number 2.
Thank you for listening.
Oh, hey, you're back. I'm gonna tell you about some more stats about my throws. So let's talk about discus first. The acceleration was 23.191 meters per second Now, the mass was 1.6 kilograms, as you remember. So the total force was 37.1056 newtons. Now, for kinetic energy, I had 252.9 joules. That's a lot. And for my miles per hour, I had 40.005. Now let's talk about my glue stick roll. So for that, my acceleration was 16.6 repeating meters per second. Now the mass of that was 0.05 kilograms. The force I had was 0.83 repeating newtons. And then for kinetic energy, I had 1.736 joules. The miles per hour of that glue stick was 18.75. Let's go over to Nathan for his stats.
And just a little disclaimer before we start. This is going to be pretty boring. So if you want to take a nap, pull up a nice blanket and a good hot cup of milk, you can go and do so. Here's 5-second intermission. Hi. Okay, it's you. Don't be shy. Come on. All the way. You got this. We're coming back for some more fun acceleration notes. We're going to talk about our discus first. Remember our 1.6 kilogram discus? Well, it still exists, and it got a whopping acceleration of 24 meters per second squared. That's 24. That's a lot. Now, that means that I ended up exerting force of 39.389 newtons. That is a force, and that is a lot of a force. That translates to a kinetic energy of a whole 91 joules. Now, I personally don't vape, but that's a lot of joules. It gave you 24 miles per hour. And now, normally I'd say 24 miles per hour. Man, I can run that fast. But, you know, this is my discus. Or sorry, it's Owen's discus. It can go as fast as it wants to. My acceleration on my little cylinder thingy, my cylinder buddy, the glue stick, it was a whole 8.33 meters per second squared. It didn't go as fast, but it can do what it wants to. It had its mass that I talked about already, 49.25 grams, which means that to get myself going that fast, I exerted 0.41 newtons. It's a little easy push, nice and easy. Had total 0.2299 joules. Once again, just a nice easy push. And it was able to get it all the way up to 6.875 miles per hour. Now that is slow, but for a glue stick, it's the best you can do.
Okay, I'm here to tell you about the acceleration, mass, force, kinetic energy, and miles per hour of my objects. The acceleration of the discus that I threw was 17.0775 meters per second squared. The mass of the discus was 1.6 kilograms, which we established earlier. The force was 27.324 newtons. The kinetic energy was 155.91. The miles per hour was 31.41. And the acceleration for the glue stick that I rolled was 5.1975 meters per second squared. The mass, which we established earlier, was 0.04925 kilograms. The force was 0.25598 newtons, and the kinetic energy was 0.92 newtons, and the miles per hour was 13.75. There we go. That's all I have.
Yay.